station, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
Now, Mike's thoughts. The best feeling in the world is to feel wanted. The best feeling in the world is to love somebody that loves you. The best feelings in the world is to say that they'll do anything in their power to bring you to said situation. And that is all that Aaron Rodgers wants at the end of the day. Yes, I know we've been waiting around for a long, long time, 2+ months now for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. Yes, I understand that he was cut from the New York Football Jets just a few months ago. Yes, I understand that he has options out there. Pittsburgh Steelers, Minnesota Vikings, or even retirement. Guys, the point of the matter is the reason that Aaron Rodgers is stringing us along, the reason that Aaron Rodgers is trashing the New York Jets, the reason that Aaron Rodgers does his weekly show with Pat McAfee is because he loves to feel wanted. That's just what it is. At the end of the day, he wants to feel wanted just like everybody else. So guys, when Aaron Rodgers comes out there and says, I don't know what to do. Yes, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I would be getting frustrated. Draft is 2 weeks away. Next week, right? We don't know what we're going to do at the quarterback situation. Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, you guys have J.J. McCarthy, but let's just be honest. Stringing this out. It is okay that Aaron Rodgers is playing hard to get. Because everybody needs somebody at the end of the day. I'm with Aaron Rodgers. Play it out, my man. Play it out, play it out, play it out. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckosh here with the Man Hour Show with manhourradio.com. Guys, check out the merchandise case. Check out the blog section as well. But most importantly, guys, right now, if you're listening to us on YouTube.com or Facebook.com or at X.com or on the old TikTok machine, hit the like button and, of course, share this with a couple friends because sharing is caring at the end of the day. And everybody loves everybody. But, guys, we've been breaking down the NFL. We've been doing over-under per bet standards moving forward, and we've done this NFC South. We've done the AFC South. We've done the NFC East. We've done the AFC East. And now we're working our way to the North. We're going to AFC North tonight, guys. We got the Ravens, we got the Steelers, we got the Bengals, and of course, we got the Cleveland Browns as well, guys. We're going to do over, under. Of course, we got questions that are bleeding questions that are burning the ears, and we need a little bit of talk about that. But guys, this is a live interactive show. This is live, raw, uncut NFL talk. No filters, straight from the dome. Bada bing, bada boom. It is time to talk some NFL. Before we get too carried away, guys, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We got Alan Sims in the chat. Says, what's good? What's up, my man? What's up? Rico 43 is in the chat as well. He says, who do you support? I support Aaron Rodgers in this said situation. I support Aaron Rodgers. String it out, my man. String it out, and have a good time doing it. Hokey says, sorry I'm late. You're never late, boss. We are here for a little over 90 minutes tonight. So yeah, but we are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So welcome. We got the Mr. Pigskin Punt himself. Old Man River says, what's up, Buck? What's up, Old Man River? Hope you're having a good old day. He says, be a pigskin punt and be like me and get you some. Guys, click on the membership tab down below. $4.99 a month. Get you some free merch. Get you free entry into our $1,000 weekly giveaways and much more. And then we got my man James Frank in the chat tonight. He says, Joe Flacco, slow it down, baby. But James, we're going to talk about your boy Flack around and find out, because I think we've been flacking around and we about to find out. We about to find out that the Cleveland Browns are going to the Super Bowl, baby. James, we're going to flack around and we're going to find out that the Cleveland Browns are going to win the AFC North. James, we're going to flack around and we're going to find out that Joe Flacco is going to not only win the MVP, he's not only going to be the top 5 quarterback in the NFL this season. We're going to see that this man, 18 years in the NFL, gravy train, baby, going to be playing like year 3. Tutty. Slow it down. No, but real guys, we are going to be talking about all that and much more tonight. So, like I said, guys, hit the like button, share this with a couple friends as well, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. But let's get into today's show, guys. Let's get into today's show and let's talk about the one and only Baltimore Ravens. Let's start off the top of the thing, and the team that's been leading the AFC North for the last couple of seasons, a team that's been dominating the regular season, a team that has been so great that they fumble themselves in the postseason each and every year that Lamar Jackson has been on the Baltimore Ravens team. But with that being said, guys, the Ravens failed to make the AFC Championship game again last season after the huge addition of Derrick Henry last season. I was kind of skeptic about what Derrick Henry might do to this team, but Derrick Henry carried that team most of the season. The biggest issue for the Baltimore Ravens the last couple 6 seasons, right, have been the playoff wins. They're either losing in the divisional round, losing the championship round, and they get past the wild card, but I mean, bada boom, it's a miracle, right? But they did add DeAndre Hopkins to this offseason, adding to that receiver core that was pretty damn good in my opinion. But they stole DeAndre Hopkins from the Kansas City Chiefs in this offseason. But guys, does the addition of DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens make them better? Not a Super Bowl team, not an AFC Championship team, just better in general. Does the addition of DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens make them better? Now, DeAndre Hopkins, guys, used to be an elite talent. D-Hop used to be the man, the myth, the legend. D-Hop used to be the guy that everybody earned to get in fantasy, that earned that the one on their team, right? When he went from the Texans to the Cardinals, we all thought the Cardinals struck gold. Like, Texans, what are you doing, right? But that was 4 years ago. That was 5 years ago. That's not 2025. Guys, D-Hop used to find ways to get open. Massive routes, great body positioning. He used to find ways to get open. But last season, when he was picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs midseason from the Tennessee Titans, he just never really showed signs of greatness anymore. He just showed himself as a mid-tier wide receiver. Number 3, number 4 guy on like any other team. Now, he did have 437 yards with the Kansas City Chiefs last season, with another 173 yards with the Tennessee Titans, giving him around north of 600 yards last season. That was hands down his worst season. Hands down the worst he's ever looked in his career. He also had a huge few drops for the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl run as well. Never really found his groove, never really seemed to fit well in Kansas City. However, when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they found their groove last season. The Baltimore Ravens were on cloud 9 all 18 weeks last NFL season. Going into the wild card, they were on cloud 9. They had the number 1 ranked offense in 2024. 7th ranked in passing, averaging 237.4 yards in the regular season, and they're first in rushing with 187.6 yards per game during the regular season. When you look at the Baltimore Ravens guys' receiver core, they're not that bad. Matter of fact, I could potentially put them as a great label on the Baltimore Ravens receiving core. Zay Flowers, clearly that number 1 guy, clearly a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and he just gets better and better and better. Zay Flowers is going to be a beast by the time his career has peaked, right? Rashad Bateman, pretty damn good number 2. Had a hell of a 2024 as a number 2 receiver. 756 yards receiving with 9 tutties. Now, they still do have Mark Andrews on the roster. There's a lot of trade rumors circling around Mark Andrews right now, but as of right now, Mark Andrews is still on the roster. He's still a dog. Isaiah Likely is still on the roster. He's still a dog. Isaiah Likely's going to be a beast, guys. He is going to be a beast. And then they have a handful of guys that could be potentially number 3 receivers on that Baltimore Ravens team. Tylan Wallace, Malik Cunningham, Walker, Anthony Miller, along with DeAndre Hopkins. So the question is, guys, does the addition of DeAndre Hopkins make the Baltimore Ravens better? I've been waffling around this all day. I waffled it on the pre-show with the Pigskin Pundits. I've been waffling around in my head, getting ready for the show. I've been waffling as I was writing notes for the show as well. Guys, I do like the addition of DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens off the field. He's a nice veteran leadership. He has the football IQ, and he does all the things right. He's not beating his wives. He's not cheating. He's not getting kids all over. He lives life correctly. But I'm not for sure if he helps them on the field. I'm not for sure if I'm not for sure if D-Hop helps them beat the Buffalo Bills last season. Guys, truth be told, I am going to waffle around this answer. I know playing in the gray area because I like the additions off the field that he adds. The veteran leadership, the football IQ, the age, the doing things the right way. Off the field, it's a great ad, especially for Zay Flowers that needs that guidance, needs that father figure, brotherly figure, whatever you want to call it. But on the field, I don't see him breaking 1,000 yards ever again. On the field, I probably don't even see him breaking 500 yards this season. On the field, guys, it's just, I do not see big things happening for D-Hop, unfortunately. So with like that, I do not think DeAndre Hopkins makes the Baltimore Ravens better. I might even go out on a limb. No. I am going to go out on a limb and say that he actually makes them worse. The addition of DeAndre Hopkins makes the Baltimore Ravens worse on the field. Because that takes touches from Zay Flowers. That takes touches from Derrick Henry. That takes touches from feeding them the ball. And I have a feeling in the back of my head, Lamar Jackson, especially first 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season, is going to try to force D-Hop the ball. All of a sudden, Zay Flowers starts getting mad. Starts getting the personal fouls. All of a sudden, Mark Andrews is like, hey, you forget about me. I can drop the ball in the end zone too. And then we're saving Derrick Henry for the postseason. So, guys, what do you think? Does the addition of D-Hop make the Baltimore Ravens better on the field? On the field, I'm saying no. Off the field, yes. So what do you guys think? My man, James Frank, says, we already know we're taking the North, meaning the Cleveland Browns. I was gaslighting you, James. I ain't going to front, man. I was gaslighting the hell out of you. The Browns suck. Let's just be honest. But Real McCoy, my man's he is in the chat. D-Hop is good, just not a number 1 anymore. Matter of fact, ever since he got traded from the Cardinals, 2 seasons ago? Oh, I guess it would be 3 seasons ago now. He spent 2 seasons in Titans, and then half of it, whatever. But yeah, he has not been a number 1 for quite a while. I would say the last 4 years. Granted, he has had those 1,000-yard season, right? His first year in Tennessee, he had 1,100 yards, right? But he definitely is not a number 1 receiver anymore. D-Hop is a possessive route running receiver. And when you lose that step, it is tough, right? And I think his age definitely showed in the playoff run with the Kansas City Chiefs. James Frank says, I was about to say, don't forget about Isaiah Likely. Listen, Isaiah Likely is a top 5 tight end in the league, my man. Isaiah Likely is up there. Isaiah Likely is going to be a dog. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Jay says, read my whole comment. Okay, James, my bad. My bad, buddy. My bad. James Frank says, we already know that we take the North again, meaning the Cleveland Browns. We shall see if they can do anything in the playoffs. I think Hopkins makes them better. He will bluster the locker room and take Flowers and teach him to make Flowers even better. So James, so we are on the same page. Off the field, D-Hop's a great addition. Veteran leadership, know how to study, know how to do things the right way. And honestly, was it Zay Flowers' rookie season when the Ravens and the Chiefs played in the AFC Championship game, and Zay Flowers shoved somebody? I don't remember who it was. Was it Trent McDuffie? Shoved him, 15-yard penalty, basically cost him the game. Because they were driving, they were looking good. All of a sudden, boof, flag, they gone, right? They gone. But, yeah, definitely teaching Zay Flowers how to do things the right way is what D-Hop is there for, I think. And Old Man River says, well, first of all, Old Man River's the pigskin pundit.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
So everything that a pigskin pundit, guys, take with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. Take it with a grain of salt. Because Old Man River's a little off his rocker. Let's just be flat out honest. Old Man River's sitting over there. He is drinking a Budweiser. He's probably got a Marlboro Red in his hand. Maybe even a Winston 100 because, he is old school, right? He needs those nice big drags. And he says, hell yes, brother. He says, hell yes, D-Hop will get 1,000 yards this season. Go. Old Man River, slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. I don't think there's ever been a number 3, a number 4 receiver on any team that's ever gotten 1,000 yards. A true number 3, a number 4 receiver on a team is not getting 1,000 yards. If the number 3, number 4 guy is getting 1,000 yards, that means the number 2 is getting like 1,400. That means the number 1 guy's damn near breaking 2,000 yards. And we know we've never had a receiver break 2,000 yards. Tyreek Hill was close, but no cigar, right? But if that is the case, if D-Hop has spurts of himself from first year at Tennessee, gets that 1,000 yards, okay. Maybe he does help the Ravens. But I don't think he does. Old Man River.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Says that spreads the ball around, meaning balance. No, Old Man River, you see, no matter what the Baltimore Ravens do, no matter what they do, they can bring in 3 or 4 elite receivers. They can bring Derrick Henry in 5 years ago. Derrick Henry, right? Lamar Jackson is still going to eat. Lamar Jackson is still going to be the centerfold of that offense. Rushing the ball, quick little passes, that is it. He is not going to spread the ball around. D-Hop doesn't need more balance. The only thing D-Hop does is just take the ball out of Zay Flowers' hand a little bit more, takes the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hand a little bit more, takes the ball out of Derrick Henry's hand a little bit more, and then all of a sudden they're not very good. All of a sudden they're a 9-18, 10-7. D-Hop hurts the Ravens, I think, guys. I'm just saying. James Frank says, nah, they as in the Ravens. Oh, James is saying, hey, the Ravens are winning the North. I'm like, slow it down, baby, James. Slow it down. We'll be talking about it in over-overs. Just slow it down. WBN's in the chat. He is a Ravens fan. He's a 2-year anniversary follower. What's up, WBN? He says, what's up? How have y'all been? Dog, we've been good. We've been good. We've been talking about your Ravens for the last 25 minutes. We've been talking about how bad D-Hop is going to make the Baltimore Ravens. We've been talking about how great Lamar Jackson is. We've been talking about 69. I'm joking. No 69 today. No 69 today. No 69 jokes, Buck. We are past that. We are past the 69 jokes. But no, Guys, the question is, does DeAndre Hopkins make the Baltimore Ravens better in 2025? I'm saying off the field, yes. On the field, no. I think it makes them worse. Now, if you want to look beyond this, 2026 season, 2027, 2028, off the field stuff, bringing Zay Flowers along, making him into a mature man, right? Then definitely better on the field. But I think for the preterm, right now, what's right in front of us, 2025, they will be down this season. WBN says, haven't been on here in a while, man. Been working 2 jobs. I feel you, brother. I feel you, man. Life is tough out there. It's hard out there for a pimp. I'm just saying. But I feel you. I'm working, 4 jobs, right? I got my real job. I got man hour, coaching. I got scouting. Plus raising 2 damn kids and a dog. I feel you, brother. It's tough. But I'm glad you are here, man. I'm glad you're here. Kick those feet up, man. Have a beer. You know, do what you got to do. Enjoy some NFL talk, brother. James Frank says, I was going to say the Falcons beating the Ravens twice this year. Ooh, slow it down, baby. Man, James out here shooting from the hip. Boom, baby. He says the Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns are sweeping the Baltimore Ravens this season. Well, James, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because after a 12-5 season in 2024 and yet another divisional round exit to the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens are expected or projected to get 11.5 wins in 2025. They're tied for most projected wins in 2024. So, guys, the question is simple. Over under 11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens in 2025. Now, I do not think the Browns are sweeping the Ravens. I do not think that Lamar Jackson is going to lose to the Browns once. I think the Baltimore Ravens sweep the Cleveland Browns, giving them 2 dubs on the season right off the bat. And then they split with the Bengals and split with the Steelers, giving them 4 wins, 4-2 in the AFC North into 2025. Now, when we look at the home schedule, very, very favorable home schedule. Let's just be honest. If there's a home schedule that I want this home schedule. They play the Patriots, they play the Jets, they play the Bears, Lions, Texans, and Rams. Man, that is a favorable home schedule if I have not seen one. They're beating the Patriots. I'm sorry, Patriots fans, but you guys are just not going to be very good. They're beating the Jets, the 4-win Jets yet again, right? They're beating the Chicago Bears. Sorry, Caleb Williams. No match for you. They're beating the Detroit Lions. What? Lamar Jackson's like 35-1 versus NFC teams. Wax that ass right there's 8 dubs. Now, the Texans might come in, want a little bit of revenge, but guess what? CJ Stroud ain't got nothing for the Baltimore Ravens defense. The defense is stepping up this year, baby. That defense is going to be elite yet again. There's 9 wins. And yes, they're beating the LA Rams yet again. That's 10 dubs. And we haven't even started the whole away games yet. That's 10. That's 10. That's Miss Davis's, baby. But then we look at the away schedule. This is where it gets tricky. The away schedule, if I'm a Ravens fan, scares me a little bit, right? They play the Buffalo Bills. Now, we all know the rock, paper, scissors analogy that Alpha Rob presented us with the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs, right? And maybe it goes the other way during the regular season, but they play the Bills, Dolphins, Packers, Vikings, and Bengals away on the road. So we're sitting at 10 games right now. They need 2 more to get the over. I do not think that they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills. I think this will probably be a week 1, week 2 game, right? And it's going to be all the hype. Everybody is going to be fresh, and Orchard Park is going to be rocking. That is tough, right? And then they play the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are a tough out, because if you play them in September, October, it's going to be 120 degrees on that field. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be hot, cramps, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to predict a second loss to the Miami Dolphins. I'm just, that is tough, right? And then you play the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry. Then you play the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, both NFC North, or both NFC teams, which Lamar Jackson's great against the NFC teams. 34-1. I think they get one of those wins, whether it's the Packers or whether it's the Vikings. It is at least one of them. But that only gives you 11 wins on the season. So I got to go under. I got to go under 11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens in 2024. Now, if they happen to sweep the Steelers, they happen to sweep the Bengals, or if they happen to beat the Vikings, yes, 12 wins is very, very attainable, right? We don't know the schedule. We don't know how it is going to fall out. But just looking at this, using the eye test as of right now, I got to go under. So, guys, under 11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens in 2025. I'm going under. Old Man River says over, baby. He says, give me that cigar. Let me do it. Over. He says the Ravens are going 13-4. That's a very good possibility. If you do everything that I said, but Lamar Jackson beats the NFC CE teams, that is 13 wins. So yes, very, very attainable. WBN says no less than 11 wins. And yeah, like it is tough. Yeah, but I'm picking 11 wins, so I got to go under the 11.5. And Ann says, "Damn, we playing the Texans again?" Yeah. Well, how about this, Ant? You guys know I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I live 90 minutes from Cincinnati. The Chiefs and the Bengals play for the next 3 seasons. They play 2025, 2026, and then they play the AFC West in 2027. So I don't know what kind of cycle we are in right now, but we have a lot of repeat games from last season, like the Patriots and Bengals, Texans and Ravens. It's just like, damn, can we get some new games already? But it is what it is. James Frank says, damn, I don't think they'll have a loss at home. No. I mean, of course you play your division, the Steelers, Bengals, and Browns all at home. But then the Patriots, Jets, Bears, Lions, Texans, and Rams. That's a very favorable home schedule. If I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan living in Baltimore, going to Baltimore Ravens games, I'm going to have a hell of a lot of fun time because we ain't going to lose. We ain't going to lose. The WBN says, James Frank, Detroit might surprise us. And guys, Detroit Lions are a true wild card. When we break down the NFC North tomorrow, the Lions are, they're either going to be super great or back down to 4 or 5 wins. So all you Detroit Lions hater fans, come on out, baby, because, man, it is going to be a hell of a show. Matt Henry, Chicago Bears fan, says, good evening, sir. What's up, Matt? Hope you're having a good old day, man. Will Howard to the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. Let's go. James Frank says over, though. Over 11.5 wins. Listen, this is why betting is so tough, right? But also so addicting. Now, I'm not an avid gambler, but I do partake in some bets and these over-unders and like whatnot. 11.5 is very, very dangerous, right? Because 12 win season, those are pretty damn good seasons. You can have 11, you can be 11-6, winning your division, be the second overall seed in the AFC, but yet you are going to lose that bet because you bet the over, and it is 11.5 is like tough. But James, you are saying over, and I like it. And says exactly, Buck. Can we get some new matchups? Yeah, in 2028 we'll get some new matchups, right? But what do you guys think? 11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens in 2025. Let's talk about it. The Cincinnati Bengals, guys. The Bengals have one of the worst defenses in 2024. Matter of fact, they had the 25th ranked overall defense in 2024. They were being ran all over. They were being passed all over. Hell, they couldn't stop a bleeding nose in a hot summer day with a hose. They couldn't stop nobody from doing nothing. And to help address their defensive issues, to help their offseason needs for the defensive issues, what did they do? They paid T. Higgins and they paid Jamar Chase the huge contracts. Spoiler alert, guys, they don't play defense. Trey Hendrickson is waiting on a new contract. Trey Hendrickson says, hey, I want to get paid too. I've been the man, the myth, the legend. Give me some dollar bills, yo. The front office of the Cincinnati Bengals basically said, kick rocks, Trey. I'm paying you a lot of money. Enjoy it. So shut your mouth and get back to work or get the hell out of here. That is basically what she said. Now, she didn't say that. She said, oh, politically correct, like, hey, you got to earn your money. Oh, just shut up. That is what she said. She said, kick rocks. Since then, they have given Trey Hendrickson the permission to seek a trade. Nothing has really come of it. We haven't heard any rumors, whatever. But, guys, is Trey Hendrickson the one player that the Cincinnati Bengals defense cannot afford to lose? Oof. Let me throw some numbers out there for you guys. 17.5, 17.5, 14 sacks in 2021, 2023, and 2024. That's all from one player. That's all from Trey Hendrickson. Since 2020, he is the second leading sack getter, all to TJ Watt. TJ Watt has 74, and Trey has 72.5. If they wouldn't have blown out some teams in 2022, the Super Bowl run year, can't remember, 2021, he would have probably had some more. But guys, the Bengals had the 25th ranked defense in 2024. They are 21st in pass defense, giving up 223.5 yards per game. They were ranked 19th, giving for the rushing defense, giving up 124 yards per game. And oh, by the way, they were giving up 25 points per game. The only teams worse than that, giving up more points than the Bengals, were the Cowboys. They're terrible. The 49ers, even more terrible. The Titans, god-awful terrible. And oh, by the way, the Carolina Panthers, terrible. All horrible teams in 2024. Now, when you look at their defense, Cam Sample was a nice little part of the front four. B.J. Hill, Chris Jinksons, not game changers. Doesn't get my PP excited. Linebacker, Logan Wilson, Pratt, Owen Burks, doesn't really get me excited either. Taylor Britt has a chance to be good. Nothing to write home about. Geno Stone seems to be past his prime. Dax Hill seems to be the only bright spot besides Trey Hendrickson on that Bengals defense. Guys, it's simple. The Bengals cannot lose Trey Hendrickson. I don't know how much more blunt, glary, black and white we need to put it. The Bengals need Trey. The Bengals need Trey. One more time for the people in the back. The Bengals need Trey. Trey doesn't need them. Trey is going to get his bread no matter where he goes. He can go to the Carolina Panthers. He's going to get his 17.5 sacks. He can go to the New York Football Giants. He's going to get his 17.5 sacks. And I honestly don't know why teams are not chomping at the bits to get him right now. Maybe they are. Maybe the asking price is 2, 3, or 4, 5 first-round picks. We don't know. But the point of the matter is, guys, Trey Hendrickson is the best player on the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they need to recognize that. I understand everybody wants to get paid. Everybody wants to get their bread. But paying Jamar Chase, paying T. Higgins, paying Cam Sample is not how you are going to get yourself back to the top of the AFC North. Paying those guys right now is not how you're going to get back to your winning ways. There are so many holes on the Bengals defensive side. At least get something to build around in Trey Hendrickson. So, guys, let me ask you this question. Is Trey Hendrickson the one player that the Bengals defense cannot afford to lose? I got to say yes. What do you guys think? James Frank says, LOL, they need that man. Poor old Joe and the gang not going to be able to score enough points. And you want to know what's sad about that whole situation is that the Bengals offense was scoring 30, 40 points every freaking game is like it seemed like. They were just up and down the field, up and down the field, up and down the field. And I heard some people say that, hey, the offense is the reason why the defense is playing so bad. They're tired. They're scoring too fast. They're scoring too easy. And look, I agree with that. Sometimes the offense has to play a little defense, run the ball a little bit more. I mean, granted, the Bengals got rid of Joe Mixon, but hey, they got P. Ryan back. Maybe they'll be able to run the ball a little bit more. Maybe Trey can get a little bit of rest. Maybe Dax Hill can get a little head rest. Maybe Cam Sample can get a little rest. But yeah, listen, Scoring is the name of the game. And I get it. Defense is not sexy, but defense wins you championships. The last 4 Super Bowl winners had a top 5 defense in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. But yeah, they are pretty damn good. Matt Henry says you can win 15 games and be one and done. That's what happens when you never played for the Lombardi. Whoa. Shots at the Ravens. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Oh, man, River.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Says they better draft defense. They better do something. Because whatever they're doing on the defensive side is not working. And the scheme to seem to be okay. Being granted with the last 6 games of the season, they're holding opponents to under 15 points. So the scheme seems to be working. But for whatever reason, that first part of the season, they were just dog shit. They were terrible. James Frank says, damn, him with Dexter Lawrence would be crazy. It would. Listen, Trey on any team would be crazy. I'm waiting for Old Man Rivers to say, hey, Raiders, why aren't you calling them, right? Send them to Vegas. Hell, we'll be honest, wasn't the Eagles and Myles Garrett kind of linked like neck and neck? Why are they not calling the Cincinnati Bengals? Now, I'm not saying Trey Hendrickson is better than Myles Garrett. Oh, wait, I am. Trey is better than Myles Garrett. You heard it here first. Trey just doesn't have that notoriety and the big swagger and the playoff wins and all that stuff, right? Guys, Trey is good. As a Chiefs fan, sign him, baby. Hell, you guys can take Chris Jones for all I care. At least Trey will play 100% of the time. Chris Jones only play about 65% of the time, but I don't understand why people are not calling about him. WBN says they absolutely can't afford to lose him. If they lose him, their defense will drop to 31st and 32nd ranked defense. The Bengals are playing very risky game by putting it all on Burrow and that offense. Guess the organization forgets that the defense helped them get to the Super Bowl versus the Rams. So, and I don't know if you guys have heard this, but my wife's cousins, so I guess they're called my cousins-in-laws, maybe. I don't know. My wife's cousins, they are huge Cincinnati Bengals fans. They live right across the river in Indiana, but you can literally see Cincinnati from their house. But the rumor is that the Cincinnati Bengals even want to move out of Cincinnati. They have to sign this lease by June or July. And if they don't do that, their lease expires at the end of the season and they can move to anywhere that they want. So I think the Bengals franchise is more worried about going to a new city, getting a new stadium, doing this, and this, right? Then they're worried about actually building a championship caliber team. Now, yes, they did just build a brand new indoor stadium, practice stadium 2 years ago, right? But it's just one of those little blow up dome things where we have that in Indianapolis where we play 7-on-7. Like it's nothing to write home about. I mean, it's cool. It's like $1 million or whatever. But and you are right. If they lose Trey, there goes that pass rush. There goes 17.5 sacks a season. That 21st ranked pass defense is dead last in the NFL. That 19th ranked rushing defense, probably below 20. But yeah, they cannot afford to lose him. And Old Man River says he is a core player and they need him. Say it louder for the people in the back, Old Man River. Say it with your chest. They cannot afford to lose him. James Frank says they should get a Nick Swarson. No, they shouldn't. Leave Kansas City Chiefs alone. Leave the Kansas City Chiefs alone. Old Man River says, nah, we don't want him, meaning the Raiders. Yes, you do. The Raiders want Dak Prescott. They want Trey, and they want Amari Cooper. They make it happen. Drew's in the chat for you. Damn.
Pigskin pun. Get you
Drew has been with the Man Hour for 4 years, man. That is longer than the Man Hour has been around. We were 3 years old last Friday, so Drew is here back when it was just me and actually it was me and Wyatt and Wyatt and Combs, right? Living the dream. Man, Drew, you old, baby. You old. But thanks, Jude. What's up, Drew? What's up? And says, do y'all think that Burrow will finish his career with the Bengals? I can see him leaving once his contract is up, and the AFC is only going to get tougher, especially the AFC North. We talked about this on the Picks and Pundits pre-show today. I mean, I was like, every time we hype up a division, meaning the AFC West a couple years ago, oh, they're going to be tough. Everybody in the division is going to make the playoffs, and they all suck, except for the Kansas City Chiefs. A couple seasons ago, we're saying, oh, the AFC North is the toughest division in football, and then everybody sucks except for like two teams, right? Now, as we all go in waves, right? Everything comes and goes, right? Right now, the NFC North are top dogs, and the NFC South sucks, and the AFC South is not very good, and the AFC North probably won't be very good. But yet, probably in a couple years, it's going to be just and right back up. But I think Joe Burrow is a hometown hero that you cannot afford to lose. No matter the cost, no matter the situation, as long as Joe Burrow is able to stand upright and throw the ball 20, 30 yards down the field, go get an oxygen mask and then come back and do it again, he is going to be a Bengal. I think he is a Bengal for life. It's that hometown hero thing, right? It's the kid playing for his hometown NFL team, yada, yada, yada. I don't ever see Joe Burrow ever leaving anywhere. I don't ever see Joe Burrow moving anywhere. Old member says, slow down on the Mountain Dew. Never. Papa do, baby. Papa do. Real McCoy says the Bengals have lost. The Bengals have lost for so long, they're just happy now that they are. You know, there is some validity to that, right? That there is some validity that you are just so used to your old ways that you're scared to change. Because before Mike Tomlin was Mike Tomlin, the Cincinnati Bengals were Mike Tomlin, right? With Marvin Lewis, Carson Palmer, who was the receiver? Was it Osochinko? Right? They were happy just making the playoffs. They were happy being 8-8. They were happy making it to the wild card and being an exit, right? They were happy just being mediocre. And then that's after decades and decades of being terrible through the 80s and 90s, right? And of course, you had Boomer Esiason. They weren't very good. I don't remember that far back. But there might be something to this, real McCoy. There might be something that, hey, we're happy just being just good enough. Us talking about you, right? And maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Old Man River says most of their payroll is wide receivers and Joe Burrow. Can't afford anything else. There's always ways to afford something. There's ways to kick the can down the road. There's a way to restructure this deal, making it into signing bonus, whatever. Yada. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Every year to start the year, they're over the salary cap, $25 million, and the next thing you know, they have $65 million to like play with. Bengals are starting very, very, very good at managing their money, apparently. Drew says, I miss the old days. They were fun. Fun watching you and Combs duke it out and then gang up on Wyatt. Fun shit. Oh, yeah. The good old days. The good old days. Speaking of the good old days, the Bengals were not good in 2024. They had a horrible start to the 2024 NFL season. Now, they did roll off 5 wins in a row to make a strong playoff push the last 5 weeks of the NFL season. They did end up with a winning record at 9-8, but they did miss the playoffs thanks to the Kansas City Chiefs letting the Denver Broncos win that Week 18 game. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals guys are projected to win 10.5 games in 2025. So over under 10.5 wins for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. Much like the Baltimore Ravens guys, they have a very favorable home schedule. When you look at their home schedule, you would think that this is a 4th place team. You would think that this team is just not very good, but they play the Patriots, they play the Jets, Jaguars, Bears, Lions, and Cardinals all at home. And now, I do not think that the Patriots come into Cincinnati, Ohio, yet again and beat them again. Patriots is a dub. They're beating the Jets. The Jaguars is a wild card. We'll see what the Jaguars are eventually, but that is a dub as well. They're beating the Chicago Bears, but I think they're losing to the Lions and losing to the Cardinals. So that gives them 4 home game wins on the season. Now let's flip over to the division. I think they are a dead split. They're a 500 division team. So they're 3 wins. They beat the Ravens, Steelers, and Browns all once and losing them as well, giving them 7 wins on the season. So we're looking at 4 more wins on the road to get over the 10.5 mark. Their road schedule is not very favorable at all. They play the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos, Packers, and Vikings. Guys, I do not see them beating the Buffalo Bills. I do not see them beating the Miami Dolphins at Miami. Mile High Stadium, another tough place to play. They're not beating the Broncos. They're not beating the Packers, and they're not beating the Vikings. They will all be competitive games. They'll all be close games. They might all be fun to watch. But the truth is, they have 7 wins. They have 3 division wins and 4 out-of-division wins, which are all going to be home games versus weak-ass opponents, meaning the Patriots, Jets, Jaguars, and the Bears. Guys, I am picking the under for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. I'm picking them 7 wins under the 10.5 projected. So what do you guys think? Over, under 10.5 wins for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. Old Man River says it is going to be under. He says 8 wins for those Bengals. They're going to fumble around and they're going to flack around and they're not going to find out because they're going to get swept by the division. 8 wins. Old Man River, I feel like you're reading my mind lately. I feel like, are you reading my notes for the show? Are you going to my Google Docs form and reading my notes? Come on, man. But yeah. James Frank says, I concur with your logic. Logic of splitting the division or being under 10.5 wins. Got to narrow it down, James. My mind's getting a little lost in my old age, guys. I just had a birthday, and the man hour had a birthday. I'm getting a little brain fogged, right? But yeah, James, I think a lot of us think that the Bengals can be competitive. They can go out there and they can beat the Buffalo Bills. They can beat the Packers. They can beat the Steelers and Vikings and Lions and Bears. They can if they had a defense. The offense will do its thing, right? We anticipate the offense putting up 30, 40, 50, 80 points every game. But the defense, however, is going to give up 30, 40, 50, 80 points every game, especially without Trey Hendrickson. But, yeah, I think we're all picking under. James says, I think the Ravens sweep them, though. Listen, the Ravens quite possibly could go 6-0 in the division this season. But for whatever reason, every time the Ravens have a shot to really extend the lead in the division or the first place or this whatever, they lose the Browns on a Thursday night game. And then they're rolling around, they're doing great, and then they lose to the Carolina Panthers. It's just like the Ravens can never really extend themselves, and the Bengals will always be the hunters, like trying to get the guy all season long. I just don't think they ever get those. Drew says, "Happy birthday, you old fart." Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. James says, under 10 wins and splitting division. Only the Ravens sweep. Okay, so James is saying 2 wins in the division while getting so do you think the Bengals will beat the Ravens twice or get swept by the Ravens? So that could go either way there. WBN says eventually somebody will figure out the blueprint to stop Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. And I think the blueprint is out there too. We'll be honest. The blueprint is out there. You just you simply abandon. Don't worry about the run. Don't worry about the screen pass. Don't worry about the quick passing game, right? Pin your ears back. Go get Joe Burrow. Press on the outsides. Jam Jamar Chase. Jam T. Higgins. And if you happen to get beat deep, cool, whatever. I expect you to beat me deep, but it's a very, very hard pass when a TJ Watt is running at you every play, full freaking speed, not worrying about the run. It's going to be very, very tough when somebody like Josh Allen I guess it's Josh Allen Hines now, right? Is coming at you and hitting you in the mouth every freaking play. It is going to be tough when somebody like Etspin from the Buffalo Bills is hitting you in the mouth every freaking play. You rush Joe Burrow, you put as much pressure as you can on him, press on the outside, force him to throw lob passes up. That is how you beat him. Force him to turn the ball over, and that's what Old Man Rivers just said. Rush Joe Burrow. James says swept by the Ravens. I probably, because they swept them last year, right? The first one was an overtime win by the Ravens on the, was it a missed field goal or a fumble? I can't remember. And they definitely won again. So, yeah. James says just cover Jamar and T. Higgins and get Burrow. Easier said than done, though, right? Drew says, I think they will be split. I agree. Well, let's go ahead and rubberneck our way around here. Let's go ahead and rubberneck around right here. Now. Go, guys. But listen, being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan must be tough. Not as tough as being a Cleveland Browns fan, but being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan must be tough. From being just happy to having yet another winning season. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, to be in first-round exits, to having a top-ranked defense, but the offense is bottom tier. It must be tough being a Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Year after year, they can't do crap with a great defense, a nice running game. Well, they can do crap. They can have a winning season, 9-8, and they can be a first-round wild card exit. However, this offseason, they finally did some work. This offseason, they traded a second-round draft pick for DK Metcalf. Guys, they brought in DK Metcalf to help round out this wide receiver room. They've been earning for that nice wide receiver core for a very, very long time. So, guys, will DK Metcalf and George Pickens be the best wide receiver duo in the NFL in 2025? When I was first presented this question, my dad actually presented me this question. Thank you for that, Pops. I was like, there is no freaking way. Because we just talked about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I have reportedly said that Jordan Addison is the top number 2 receiver in the NFL. And of course, Justin Jefferson is one of the top receivers in the NFL as well. There are other people out there too, right? You have CeeDee Lamb and Turpin. Could be a nice little receiver duo. But when you think about this, let's think about this logically, right? George Pickens was the number 1 receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. Since his rookie season, he's been the number 1 guy. DK Metcalf was the number 1 guy in Seattle as well. So logically speaking, you have 2 number 1 guys now pairing up to be a number 1 and number 2 wide receiver deal. So logically speaking, obviously a former number 1 receiver on said team should be better than a T. Higgins and Jordan Addison and whoever else you might want to throw up there, a Waddle or Devontae Smith. I mean, it is very, very plausible here, right? Because if you think about this, George Pickens heading into Week 18 just needed 99 yards for his second straight 1,000-yard season. Of course, he ended up finishing with 900 yards, 100 yards away, but that's a story for a different day. In 2023, he did have a 1,140 yards receiving along with 5 touchdowns. And last season, DK Metcalf had yet another 900-yard season. 6 years in a row, 6 years in his career, all over 900 yards receiving. 3 of them, which he broke 1,100 yards. DK Metcalf is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. Overlooked. Guys, put some respect on the man's name. Guys, both of these guys are number 1 receivers on 90% of the other teams in the NFL. If George Pickens goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, he is the number 1 guy. If he goes to the Houston Texans, he's the number 1 guy. If he goes to the San Francisco 49ers, he's probably the number 1 guy. But you see, to be a great duo, you have to get yardage. To be a great duo, you got to have a quarterback that can throw you the freaking ball. And that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers do not have. Yes, I understand they have Mason Rudolph. Yes, I understand they got the man, the myth, the legend, Skylar freaking Thomas from the Kansas State University, my boys. But let's just be honest. Mason Rudolph is not going to be able to push the ball down the field enough to make it a true deep threat. The play calling by Arthur Smith is suspect at best. He's a terrible play caller. We saw it last year. You can't do shit when you want to run the ball 80% of the time, and you can't even run the offensive line sucks, but whatever. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers duo of DK Metcalf and George Pickens has the potential to be a very lethal duo in the NFL. They have the potential to be the best duo in the NFL. They have the potential to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? No quarterback, no really threat of smart play calling, and Mr. Conservative himself, Mike Tomlin. Hey, let's just get worried about nine wins, and we'll be happy. Guys, they have the potential, but it is not going to happen. They're not the best duo. They will not even be a top 5 duo in the NFL. Because when you think about this logically, they have the Vikings. You have JJ and Addison. I'm just going by what I'm not putting them in any order. Then you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Then you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Then you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Then you have Rashid Rice and Hollywood Brown. And then let's not forget about Washington. You have scary Terry and freaking Debo, right? And then and let's think about Seattle. You have Jackson Smith Najigba along with Cooper Kupp. Guys, there are so many other options out there. They have the potential, yes. But it's not going to happen. Quarterback issues and piss poor Arthur Smith. Should have hired Kellen Moore when you had the shot. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. Old Man River says they're not the best duo. It's in Minnesota. Minnesota's got the best duo. Oh, let's not forget about the Lions either. They got freaking St. Brown and Jameson, right? They're both tail dogs, right? And Ant says, that's laughable, man. Ant's like, here, let me see if I can get you something for you. I guess I don't have a laughing track. Yes, I do somewhere. Where's it at? Come on now. Maybe I don't have a laughing track. What is this? No. But yeah. Ant says that's laughable. You're right, Ant. Now, let me ask you this, those guys. Obviously we're saying it is laughable not because it's DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I'm saying it is laughable because of the quarterback play, Mason Rudolph. I'm saying it is laughable because of Arthur Smith. Let's just play in this fantasy what if world, right? What if DK Metcalf and George Pickens were in Minnesota? You take out Justin Jefferson and Addison, all that. George Pickens takes Addison's spot. DK takes JJ's spot. Are we laughing then? Probably not, right? So it's all about where they're at. I think what makes it laughable. James says, "What do you mean? What do you mean to round out the wide receiver room? DK and Pickens are going to be fighting on the field by game 3. No. They're going to be fighting by game 1. They're going to be fighting to see who is alpha male. Because DK got that, what was it, 5-year deal, $150 million. George Pickens is in the final year of his rookie deal, looking to get paid. Yeah, there's going to be some egos to get hurt. George Pickens will probably be the odd man out. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. You can't pay everybody, right? Because TJ wants to get his bread too. But hey, we'll see. James Frank says, depend on who is throwing them the ball, though. And James, I agree with that. If Aaron Rodgers comes to Pittsburgh with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, would Arthur Smith limit them still, though? I think the biggest drawback, honestly, for me is Arthur Smith. His play calling was horrendous last season. I guess I should have looked at, is Arthur Smith still on the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff? I'm pretty sure, right? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think it's the play calling. Honestly, I think it's Mike Tomlin, Mr. Good job, guys. What did he get 3 yards in a cloud? It does. Let's not get too crazy. Let's not get too good. We just want to be average. Let's not raise the expectations. We just want them to be average. And James says, and Pittsburgh ain't got no damn quarterback. You're right, baby. You're right. WBN says, let's not forget about Devontae Adams and Puka. Let's not forget about Smith and Chase. Or, sorry, Chase and Higgins and Jetta and Addison and Debo and Scary Terry. Look, Ant, you're preaching to the choir, baby. Now, Devontae Adams and Puka, let's slow it down, baby. Let's slow it down, baby. We'll see what Devontae Adams has left in the tank. He is getting a little long in the tooth, right? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Old Man River says Kirk Cousins is going to Pittsburgh, so they will be the best duo. And we'll see. We'll see if Kirk Cousins, we'll see if our predictions come to fruition. Draft day is 10 days away, right? WBN says, if we're being honest, Schittsburg overpaid for DK. Not too many other teams will be made him $30 million a season. And honestly, I don't think they overpaid for DK. Go back and look at his stats. Go back and use your DK passes the eye test. He plays with passion. He plays with heart. He has football IQ. And he gives 100% each and every down. Stats are nice. The 900 plus yards every season. I wish he could find the end zone a little bit more, but you know, that's the Seattle with Geno Smith, right? Of course, Russell Wilson, but whatever. We die. James says, I hope Arthur Smith is in Pittsburgh for years to come. Tough. That's tough. That is tough, but they do like being average. They do like being average in Pittsburgh. However, they were above average in 2024. They actually finished with a 10-7 record. But the Steelers have been the definition of a mediocre team for the last 15 plus years. Now, in 2024, they did start off, however, very, very hot. They started very, very well in 2024. They actually won 10 of their first 13 games. But at the end of the season on a 5-game losing streak, losing to the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, and a wild card loss to the Baltimore Ravens as well. Honestly, that's a very, very tough stretch of games. But in 2025, the Pittsburgh Steelers are projected to have a losing season. So, guys, over under 8.5 wins for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Now, let's start with the division. I think they get 3 divisional wins. I think they split with everybody. I think they lose to the Browns, they lose to the Bengals, they lose to the Ravens, and they beat those same teams. Right? It seems like every year they split with the division. Now, I don't know how true that is. It's just, and like I always see them and seem to be splitting, rather, right? But whatever. I'm giving them 3 wins, 3 AFC North wins. Then their schedule is not favorable at all. Away games, they play the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, LA Chargers, the Patriots, and the Jets. I mean, it sounds a little bit favorable, but they're not going to beat the Chicago Bears in Chicago. They're not going to beat the Lions. They're probably not going to beat the Chargers. The Patriots away on the road? Maybe not. Give me the Jets win because it might be a nasty 10-6 game, whatever. Give me 4 wins. Then the home games. They play a tough home schedule. They play the Buffalo Bills, the Indianapolis Colts, Green Bay Packers, Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, and Seattle Seahawks. That is tough, babe. Are going to be like a team that steps up to the competition, then steps down to the competition. Give me the Buffalo Bills win. Give me the Packers win. Now we're looking at 8. Now we got the Vikings and Seahawks. They're not stopping the Minnesota Vikings. Whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's J.J. McCarthy, whether it's Kirk Cousins again, they're not stopping the Minnesota Vikings. It could be Joe Flacco in Minnesota for all we know. It could be Mr. Astronaut Man himself. They're not beating the Minnesota Vikings. And then the Seahawks, I think DK Metcalf is going to be like, it's my old team. Give me the ball. Let's do some shit. And they end up shit in the bed. I have 8 wins for the Steelers in 2025. Under. I got to have Mike Tomlin's first losing season ever as the NFL head coach. I'm going to have the Pittsburgh Steelers having 8 wins in 2025 and have a losing record. So what do you guys think? Over under 8.5 wins for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Old Man River is saying over. He says he thinks they'll go 9-8 in yet another wild card game. That's tough. That's tough. We'll see. They have a tough schedule, right? James Frank says they ain't shh. You already know that I'm going to say under. Hey, stick to your team, man. Be loyal to your dumpster fire, James Frank. Be loyal to that dumpster fire. Keep pouring gas on it, baby. Maybe it'll eventually burn itself out. I'm just playing, dog. But yeah, we seem to be split right now. A little bit over and a little bit under. Pittsburgh Steelers guys are true wild card. Like now, if we knew what their quarterback situation was, right? If we knew that, hey, they're going to draft a quarterback. Hey, no, they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. Everything could possibly change. But the fact that we're baking off Mason Rudolph as of right now, I just don't see him as a winning quarterback. I see his face and I kind of want to punch it. Like Mason Rudolph, go back to Oklahoma State. Maybe you have a better college career yet again now that you're old enough, right? I just don't like his face. And Drew says that's blasphemy. He says over, baby. Mike Tomlin's getting that. Feel you. Stop getting burned by those Browns. But damn, Drew is mad, y'all. Drew is mad. Drew, face it, man. Mike Tomlin is going to have a losing season. Mike Tomlin is going to get ran out of town. Andy Reid is then going to retire from the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 hours later, Mike Tomlin will be landing in Kansas City, becoming the Kansas City Chiefs' new head coach. I'm just saying. And James is like, you guys, you can pick all the over you want. James says you guys can pick over all you freaking want, but we know they're going to be a wild card exit. James, you ain't wrong, man. You ain't wrong. James nailed it today, boys. He nailed it. And Real McCoy with the fire. Real McCoy with the fire says Tomlin's last year as Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And you know what, Real McCoy, I could not agree with you more. It's 3 or 4 years too late. Let's just be honest. But I could not agree with you more. We talked about Mike McDaniel being on a hot seat last night with the Miami Dolphins. Mike Tomlin is on a Super Bowl or bust quest. Not a wild card win, not a divisional win, not an AFC Championship game appearance. It's a Super Bowl or bust right now for Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's just be flat out honest. Now, I know we have a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans in here that watch our videos during the season, and a lot of them are fed up with the mediocre BS that is coming out of Mike Tomlin's mouth. We watch the Hard Knocks. We listen to the fan base. If you guys want, go over to our Facebook trash talk groups. The AFC North is fed up with Mike Tomlin, period, cut, point, and blank. Matter of fact, I believe they said it's time to shit out the pot time. They're like, you've been playing with that turd way too long. You've been prairie dogging it way too long. It is time to push that bastard out or just get up and walk away and prairie dog and just like duck walking for the rest of it. I don't care. But Real McCoy, you could not have spoken another sentence for the rest of your life and you would have been factual. This is Mike Tomlin's last year as Steelers head coach if he does not win the Super Bowl. No more just being good enough. No more just doing this. You're paying people way too much freaking money. TJ Watt's too damn good. DK Metcalf's making too much money for you guys to be freaking 900 or a 500 team. Yeah, again. James says, even if Mike Tomlin gets a rookie quarterback, he can't develop quarterbacks, and that is 100% facts. The reason why Mike Tomlin has been so successful, the reason why Mike Tomlin won his Super Bowl was because Ben Roethlisberger came in there NFL ready. If Ben Roethlisberger hadn't been developed, the Pittsburgh Steelers would probably not even be a 500 team. But you guys are right. You guys are preaching to the freaking choir, baby. The Cleveland Browns. We talked about rubbernecking. And guys, rubbernecking is what is called when somebody drives past a car crash and they look around and they slow down traffic and Other wrecks back happened behind them because we're so busy looking about what is over here. And that's what everybody's looking at doing right now with the Cleveland Browns. Like, what are you guys doing over there? What is going on over there? What is going on over there? Guys, simply put, the Browns are a dumpster fire. Simply put, the Browns are a train wreck. Simply put, the Browns are a car crash and we can't stop looking at it. We go to YouTube and we look up car crashes and it brings up Cleveland Browns games over and over and over again. Now, this offseason, they're trying to make some moves. They're trying to make some splash. But right now, they're just pouring gas on that fire. As James Frank just says, he's getting third-degree burns watching this team burn. But they traded for Kenny Pickett and they brought in Joe Flacco to presumably compete for the QB1 spot. Now, they still have Deshaun Watson on the roster, and he is listed as QB1 per NFL.com and CBSSports.com, but we don't know what his exact timeline is coming back, if he's coming back or what, if he's going to have more assault, whatever. We don't know. But presumably speaking, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco will be battling for the QB1 spot once NFL training camp starts. Guys, the question is, who should the Cleveland Browns start in 2025? Should it be Kenny Pickett or should it be Joe Flacco? It's just crazy to me that the Cleveland Browns are having this conversation yet again. It is crazy to me that we thought that the Cleveland Browns finally figured out with Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield, and they had what? They had Amari Cooper and Odell Beckham Jr. and Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett and Jadarius Smith. Like, they had everything looking, everything cooking good, and now we're back to square one just a few years later. It's just crazy. Guys, but Kenny Pickett has been labeled a bust. Kenny Pickett, ever since being pushed away out of Pittsburgh two seasons ago, he is a bust, right? His rookie season, 2,400 yards passing, 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. His second season in Pittsburgh, 2,070 yards passing, 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Goes back to what, hey, Mike Tomlin can't develop quarterbacks. But hey, we will see, right? Now, he was a backup in Philly last season. He did win a Super Bowl ring with the Philadelphia Eagles last season. Now, when we look at Joe Flacco clearly has all the stats, all the accolades, all the vet status, the rings, etc. Joe Flacco has everything. However, this is his 19th NFL season. However, Joe Flacco is pushing, 42, 43 years old. Joe Flacco is well past his prime. Joe Flacco is well over the hill. Joe Flacco is nothing more than just a name at this point, to be honest. As I don't want to throw any shade on Joe Flacco, it is what it is. He got benched last year by the Indianapolis Colts for Anthony Richardson after he tapped himself out. That shows you how bad Joe Flacco played in 2024. But the real question is, what are the goals? What is the plan? What does the future look like for the Cleveland Browns? Right? Are they building for the future, aka tanking for Arch Manning, tanking for another top 5 pick in 2026? Or do they actually think that like they have a roster to win now and they're looking for that bridge gap guy? And I think if you want to win, if you think you have the roster to win right now, you have to start Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is a proven winner. Granted, we don't know how he will play this season. We saw how he played in Indianapolis, pretty shitty. But that's the Colts, so that's the story for a different day. But if you're looking to build a roster, put Kenny Pickett in there. See what you have out of the guy. See if he could be your quarterback for the future. He might lose you a lot of games and get you that top overall pick, or he could win you a lot of games and be a great guy. Guys, the point of the matter, there is no correct answer here. There is no correct answer because we don't know the goals. We don't know the direction. We don't even know what the wish list for the Cleveland Browns are moving forward. Let's just be honest. Every time we think the Browns have something figured out, they're like, hey, look over there. Let's turn this left, right? They're driving down I-70, I-80 going east and west, and then all of a sudden they end up in Oklahoma. You're like, what is going on? All of a sudden, they're on I-35 South, heading out of Des Moines, heading down to Kansas City, and the next thing you know, they're on I-10 in California. Like, what is going on? We don't know what's going on with the Cleveland Browns. Nobody does. But if you think you can have a roster that can win right now, start Joe Flacco. Let's flack around and find out, baby. But if you think you are building for the future, a.k.a. tanking, put in Kenny Pickett. That's just me personally. But who do you guys think? Who should start for the Cleveland Browns in 2025? Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco? Old Man River says Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco should and will be the starter. Real McCoy says Cleveland deserves all the losing records. They do. They screwed my man Baker Mayfield. Guys, I know some of you are new here. Some of you have been around. But let me tell you why I love Baker Mayfield so much. It's not because of his NFL play. It is not because he's the man, the myth, the legend. It's because when he was in Oklahoma, they were playing the Kansas Jayhawks. I believe they're at Lawrence, Kansas, playing that particular game. Baker Mayfield goes out for a pregame handshake, and the Jayhawks are like, "No, we're not going to shake your hand." Baker Mayfield proceeds to jack off and splue it on the crowd. Take that, Jayhawk fans. Go rock chalk this. And proceeded to beat down the Jayhawks by 60-plus points. Proceeded to give them another 20-game loss in a row. By the way, I hate the Kansas Jayhawks. That's why I love Baker Mayfield so much. I want to let you guys know that. James Frank says LOL or LMAO. Great band, by the way. We know Flacco should be the starter, but I see Kenny Pickett starting and Joe stepping in by week 5, I'll say. I still say we aren't that far, in my opinion. Our defense is still good if the offense can actually stay on the field. I'll just say that do not get me started. And honestly, James, when you look at the Browns roster, who is your running back? Because we know Nick Chubb is still a free agent. I was under the impression Nick Chubb took that deal, but he didn't. Jerome Ford is not your guy. John Kelly Jr., I don't even know who that is. Are you saying Jerry Jeudy's a true number one guy for you guys and Cedric Tillman and Michael Woods II? I do like Njoku as tight end, but the offense has so many question marks that you can have the best defense in the world. You still got to score 6 points or three points to like win the game. And I don't know if this offense right now is currently constructed could do that. Drew says, listen, I've been around the block. I've seen bad Kansas City Chiefs teams. I've seen good Kansas City Chiefs teams. And Drew is saying you have to start Kenny Pickett. If you want to build for this future, if you want to be like my Kansas City Chiefs, says Drew, you have to start Kenny Pickett. Take my word for it. I've seen it. Real McCoy says Bernie Kosar is coming back. We'll never see Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl. That's tough. If John, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bernie Kosar was a undrafted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. And wasn't he the only undrafted free agent quarterback to win a championship? Am I thinking of the same guy or the correct guy? I think I am. I'm not for sure. James says, Kenny Pickett did say he ain't there to hang around. I like his spirit. I still wacko for Flacco. Draft Hunter and trade back in the first round to get Dart or Milroe. I think you're going to have to jump over 21 to get Dart or Milroe, but we'll see. Rim McCoy's Cleveland's baseball team has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl. The Cleveland, no, what are they called? They're called the Guardians now, right? Because you can't say Indian, apparently. So, yeah, you are not right. James Frank says, tank for Arch Manning to have another Eli Decibel like when he got drafted by the Chargers and all of him got to the Giants. The Mannings ain't going to let Arch go to Cleveland. Not wrong. I wouldn't let my sister go to Cleveland. Pickett just spent a year with one of the best offenses in the league. You think he didn't learn from them? Listen, I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is a bad guy. But what I am saying is when you go from an elite level when you come from an elite level organization, an elite offense, an elite defense going to the Cleveland Browns, you need to understand your role. You need to slow it down, baby. You need to understand that 2024 is done and over. And the 2024 season for the Browns is one that they would like to forget. The lone highlights of their 2024 NFL season was beating the Baltimore Ravens at home in Winston's first start of the season, and then 2 games later, a win over arch rival Pittsburgh Steelers. Beyond that, they had 14 losses in a season. That's tough, baby. That's tough. When you are 3-14 in any NFL season, it's a season that you may not want to remember for a very, very long time. But 2025 is a new year. 2025 is a new team. 2025 is bright horizon for the Cleveland Browns. However, they are only projected to win 4.5 games in 2025. So, guys, under 4.5 wins for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. Guys, I think the Cleveland Browns go 2-4 in the division this season. They get swept by the Ravens, and they beat the Steelers, and they beat the Bengals. So give me 2 wins. Right now we're almost halfway there. We get 3 more wins. We are above the over here. Their schedule's not favorable at all. Granted, they do play a lot of their tough games at home. They play the Buffalo Bills at home, the Green Bay Packers at home, the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, 49ers, and Titans all at home. I don't see them beating anybody but the Tennessee Titans at home. Give me the Titans as a win, but they're not beating the 49ers, they're not beating the Vikings, they're not beating the Dolphins, they're not beating the Packers, they're not beating the Buffalo Bills. That's tough, but facts are facts. Those are all really, really good, really, really well-balanced teams. Right now, the Cleveland Browns are not. Then you look at their away schedule. They play the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Jets. They beat the Raiders because the Raiders are worse than they are. I'm just playing, John. But no, they're not beating the Raiders. They're not beating the Jets. They're not beating the Patriots. They're not beating the Bears. They're not beating the Lions. Guys, it is tough for me to say this because, James, I like you, man. I appreciate you being here, hitting the like button, share this, and having a conversation. But your Cleveland Browns right now, James, are a dumpster fire. They are a dumpster fire, and I have to go under 4.5 wins for the 2025 NFL season, only giving them 3 wins. Now, I could see them probably potentially beating the Jets or the Bears or the Raiders if they're at home. But the fact that they are on the road, that's tough. That is tough, right? And you don't know when you're going to play the Raiders, right? Is it going to be the Raiders that are good for 8 games or the Raiders that are bad for 8 games? Like, you just don't know. But as of right now, guys, I got to go under. And it's honestly the running back situation. If they had a little bit better running back and a little bit better offensive line, I would definitely pick in the over. 5 games is still a terrible season, but damn, 4.5, that's tough. That's tough. James says, and Myles Garrett being the youngest player to 100 sacks that season was worse than the 1-15 and 0-16 season. Listen, I could not imagine being a Chicago or a Cleveland Browns fan. I couldn't imagine it. James says, I'm not saying over, but not by much. We play the NFC North. Yes, playing the Packers, Bears, Vikings, and Lions is tough. That could easily be 4 losses right there. But on the bright side, you do play the Jets, the Patriots, and the Titans. So there's a good thing. John B says, yikes, 1-16. You like you think? No, they'll go 3-14 again. I'm thinking 3 wins. 3 wins is the floor. Like I think they have to get at least 3 or 4 wins. But over 5, that is tough. James says, nope, we lose to the Raiders and we play like shit against the Raiders. Probably. James says, I've been saying this curse of Baker Reagan Mayfield. Listen, James, go out there and buy a goat. Go out there and buy a goat. Take it to the home games. And once you start to win, once you guys make the playoffs again, people are going to start praising your GOAT, and you will be a Greek god in Cleveland. James, go buy a GOAT right now. Go buy a GOAT. Make it happen. But guys, over under 4.5 wins for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. I got to go under. John B is in the chat. What's up, John? He says maybe they get Arch Manning in 2026 and ruin his career before it even starts. John, we literally just talked about that like 5-6 minutes ago before you jumped on. James is like, listen, Arch Manning's dad. Who is Arch Manning's dad? It's what's Peyton's older brother name? Cooper, right? It's Cooper's son, right? They're not going to let him go to Cleveland. They are going to pull what they did for the LA Chargers and like Eli, like, no, we want out, and make him trade him. But guys, I think you're right. I think you guys are all right. Guys, we have all had some great NFL talk today. We've all been living the NFL dream, guys, and we are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here on YouTube.com, of course, Facebook.com, and we are part of the Believe Sports Network as well. Guys, if you missed any part of the show, we upload clips every 3 hours on the 3 hours over at YouTube.com, of course, Facebook.com, or you can find the podcast form over at Spotify. Just search Man Hour NFL Talk. All four words there, Man Hour NFL, and like I can talk, bada bing, bada boom. It is right there. So guys, follow us over there on Spotify or iHeartRadio. Bada bing, bada boom. But guys, until then, we out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in. Man, our NFL talk. I know that you're ready for more. They on the field, ready for war. Who's in the lead? I'm checking the score. We about to do it like never before. NFL live, uncut, raw. This is Man Hour NFL Talk. Let's go.